this is Chef Scott coming to you from Chefsville. Today we're going to celebrate Cinco de Mayo. How many of you celebrate Cinco de Mayo? Oh, that's a lot of you. Well, good. You're going to enjoy this. Today we've got a cinnamon cocoa custard with Ancho chocolate. It's a dessert, it's tremendous, and it's going to be all yours coming up. But before we dive into it, you need to go and wash your hands. I have these beautiful little martini glasses, and these are the small ones, big ones for adults. Anyway, we're going to use this to make our dessert, and what we're going to do with this custard is we are going to make some chocolate, drizzle it on the bottom, and let it set. Now, to do that the best way, I have 4 of them here, so let's go put these in the freezer. And when I put them in the freezer, they're going to cool the chocolate off very quickly. Okay, let's get started with our chocolate for this custard dish. Number 1, we have chocolate, semi-sweet, and my recipe calls for 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put in just about 1/4 cup, maybe a couple extra because we like chocolate. Then we have Ancho chili. Now, this is the neat thing because this is the one ingredient that's so unusual. I need 1/2 teaspoon of this. So I'm going to do what chefs do. We remove the lid, and then we go in with our 1/2 teaspoon measure. That's okay. Weird things happen all the time. Now, if this 1/2 teaspoon measure is too big, then let's go to 1/4 teaspoon measure, the next size down. And let's see if that'll fit in. Yay, it does. So the question becomes, how many 1/4 teaspoons equal 1/2? If you said 2, then you are correct. So we have there 1/2 teaspoon. Okay, now we have this in, we have this Ancho chili. Now we have 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup of cream. We are going to use 1/2 cup out of this 1 cup of cream. I love these cups because you can squeeze them and you can learn how to pour things very slowly. Those chocolates that you go to the store and buy that are $3 and $4 and $5 a bite, that is what we're making. We call this chocolate ganache. So what I have over here, come on over to our stove, and I have a pan already heated up, and I can squeeze this, and let's get 1/2 cup out. Almost. There we go. All right. Now you can see that the temperature is rising on this, and we want this whole thing to sort of come together and be the same temperature. You can use a microwave, but today we are going to use our stove. That's what I want. It's coming to a boil. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are going to walk over. And we are going to pour this over our chocolate. Just like that. Okay, that's why I have the cork board, so I can put it down without burning my table, and it's safe. Then we are going to do something very strange. We're going to talk about whisks. Now, I have here a whisk that we use in a lot of our cooking clubs, and it looks like this. And one of the strange things is these kids have actually ripped the protective layer off by mashing it and going like this and hitting, but I could still use this when I'm off the heat. This is what it looks like before it gets ruined, okay? And then they come in a variety of colors that are so much fun to use. Now, you don't have to use a whisk. I want to because when we're done, I'm gonna mix in some of this beautiful Ancho chili. And I'm stalling, yes, because what we do is we let this sort of heat up and you can see the color change. I hope the camera will pick up this color change. Here is our bagged chocolates, and you can see that they're a different color than what we have after this starts cooking. Now what's happening is this is softening, and then we're gonna start stirring it. Stir, stir. And it looks kind of gross at first. Don't give up, keep going. Because what you're gonna end up with is what we're gonna put in the bottom of the glass. And that is beautiful, shiny, smooth chocolate. At this point, we're gonna add our Ancho chilies to it, Ancho chili powder, and that's gonna give it a hello. Not a spicy, but something to let you know it's Mexican and a celebration of Cinco de Mayo. All right, we are going to clean up a little bit. I'm just gonna move out of the way. The ingredients I'm done with. And we're ready to get our beautiful glasses that should be chilled. All right. Come here, glasses. I'm gonna work with you. They are nice and cold. Now look what's gonna happen. I'm gonna take some of this and I'm just gonna drizzle it in. Just drizzle all the way around. Just gonna use my see how quickly it actually cools the chocolate ganache off. That's beautiful, just like that. If you want to, you can spoon it in. That's fine too. And then, let me get one more spoon in here. Then what I'm gonna do is just turn it, and shake it. Turn it and shake it. Turn it and shake it. Turn it and shake it. Let's see what that looks like. That'll be a nice thing to do too. Okay, that's at the bottom of number 2. Now let me be a little more careful on number, on number 3. In fact, there we go. Number 3, get in there. And number 4, get in there. Incredible. So easy to do and so much fun because we get to play with our chocolates. All right, look, I've got maracas. Da, 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 da. Okay, oh yeah. Let's see, is this shaking up real good? Okay, I gotta work it around. There, okay. And this one I just wanna mess with. Okay, now I'm not hitting it hard enough to break the glass. I'm just trying to tap it so that I have some layering effect in here. And these guys can be put aside for now, and we'll move on to our gelatin. The next thing we're gonna do is make our gelatin mixture, and that has 2 ingredients. We have water and we have gelatin. Now gelatin's kind of a fun thing to work with. Let me go ahead and open this up and show you what we have. Okay, got this little, almost like a drink container. It's kind of fun to work with. And open it up, and there's the gelatin crystals, just like that. Now, our recipe calls for 2 teaspoons of gelatin. So I'm gonna go ahead and There's 1 teaspoon. I kind of shake and shimmy so that we can get a good shake and shimmy, shake and shimmy. There's another teaspoon right there. Now, the gelatin is going to make sure that this custard sets up. A lot of us that are chefs, we don't use much gelatin unless we're making gelatinized desserts. That's okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to our pot. I still have it on, and we are going to drop in our water. We're going to go ahead and put in our gelatin. Okay. And I'm going to stir it. And this is a non-stick pot, so I certainly want to stir this with a protected handle, a protected whisk. And look what happens. I'm just going to go very slowly here, and you can see that the gelatin clumps up, and if I keep stirring, it will dissolve. And I'm going to knead this heated up for what we're going to make. For right now, this is our gelatin that we're dissolving or blooming. And once I get all of it melted, we are ready to move on to our next step. Okay, I'm just about happy with that. Perfect. Okay, we're going to continue. We're going to move this off, and the next set of things we're going to do is our mixture that's going to go with that. We're going to grab a larger saucepan because we have more liquid that we're going to add. We have the remaining cup of cream, we have a cup of milk, we have sugar, and we're going to use half of this cinnamon. Okay, so I'm kind of stalling for a few seconds to let this pan come up to temperature. One of the secrets in cooking is you've got to let your pans heat up. They'll reward you with faster cooking and better food when they're done. So at this point, let's go ahead and put in our milk. This will take a minute to come to temperature. Then we're going to put in our cream. Yum. Always delicious to have cream. Then we're going to put in our sugar. Shake, 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 shake. Now I am going to leave what I think is about 2 tablespoons in this. Okay. And we're going to just sprinkle in and estimate half of our cinnamon. There we go. All right. Put that back. Then as this comes to a heat, we're going to give it a stir. This is going to be a cinnamon milk. Absolutely incredible. Cinnamon, milk, cream, sugar. Fantastic. Now, what I'm trying to do is increase the temperature so that this hot gelatin we did a minute ago, that it is going to blend with another even temperature or close to that liquid. If we put it in a cold liquid, it'll seize, and we don't want it to seize, and we get this unblendable yuck. But if they're about the same temperature, which is warmer than hot, then we will be on our way. I'm always holding a pan so I don't drop it. And there's one other thing that we're going to do very quickly. Okay, while this is stirring up, I want to talk to you about cocoa powder. Cocoa powder. And there are several methods of using cocoa powder. I will tell you that cocoa powder does not blend into cold liquids. It kind of stays there, and it just doesn't melt in, it doesn't blend in, it doesn't mix well. But when you heat up ingredients like this, we are going to be able to blend our cocoa powder. And if you want, you can even grab a thermometer. I love using thermometers. Here's a thermometer I got at Sur La Table. I hit this button and thermometer jumps out. It activates when I straighten it. And then I can choose between centigrade or Fahrenheit. I'm going to click on Start. And it's going to tell me how hot things are. So without coming to the bottom and scraping, I'm just going to submerge it a little bit. And let's see where we're at. We're at 135, 37, 40, 42. Look at it go. Okay, so we're at 149. That's great. That's not where I want to be. I want this to completely get hot. I want it to come to a simmer. And then we will add our cocoa powder, and we'll add our cinnamon, and we'll add our salt. I'll see you in about 1 minute when it comes to a boil. Ooh, there are the wisps of steam coming up. That's good. That tells me we're almost at 175. I believe that's going to work. Okay, now I would like to also speak to you about cinnamon. This is a complete cinnamon stick. Well, it's a chunk of one, but you see, look how pretty that is. Kind of looks like a scroll or something from ancient times. Doesn't smell as perfumey as our ground cinnamon, but I'm going to show you some things. If you're a tea or coffee drinker, there is something called steeping. Steeping is when you simply drop in the cinnamon stick. While this is coming to temperature, you can stir that around. You can let this come up to heat. And what's going to happen is we already have ground cinnamon in here, but this cinnamon stick is going to release oils, not cinnamon ground. And that oil is going to perfume this cream mixture. And that's a pretty good thing to do. At this point, let's take another reading if we can. And let's see where we are. Ooh, let's see. Okay, I see 146, 167. All right. Good, and I kind of move it around a little bit. Okay, we're at 195, 98. Ooh, you see the shimmering in the pot? That means it's almost at 200 to 205. And then we're going to leave that. Give that another stir and let it alone. Leave it alone. Let the stove do its job. And you see what's happening here? Now we have a boil. Water boils at 212. And this is a little thicker than water. So it's going to boil at what? A higher or lower temperature? I'm not going to give you the answer. I'm going to leave it to you to find out. Now, this cinnamon stick has only been in here for about 2 minutes. It's going to submerge. It's going to re-emerge. It's going to pop up depending on where I put it. There it is. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this heat. And this is why I said if you're a tea or coffee drinker, you're going to love this. This is called steeping. We're going to steep that cinnamon stick and let that steep for 2 minutes because I'm going to want the cinnamon flavor before I add the cocoa powder. I want the cinnamon oil. Okay, I'm just giving this a stir to see where we're at. We let this steep for a few minutes. And I'm going to bring over my trusty cork board. I'm going to pull this off the heat. And I'm going to bring back over our now cool water and gelatin mixture. At this point, I'm going to fish out the cinnamon stick. Let me find the right tool. I'm going to use a slotted spoon. I love these things. All right, there we go. That gets discarded. And then we're going to add our cocoa powder. Look at that. Now, as I said, the cocoa powder will mix. Maybe not at first, just sort of like the chocolate. But when it starts figuring out that it's warm in here, we're going to get this to mix up, and it's going to begin to take up some saturation, and then it's going to mix into our custard. This is our milk portion, our milk mixture. And I kind of want to keep doing this, keep whisking, stir, whisk, stir. I just want to do this until it's just about smooth. Mixy, mixy, whiskey, whiskey. That's what we're doing. It's going to be just delicious. Now, don't worry if we don't get everything in all at once. It may take a few minutes. We can even leave this alone. Now, this mixture is heated up, our gelatin, and I'm just gonna pour it in. Actually, let me trade hands so I can show the camera. Just gonna pour it in, pour it in, pour it in, pour it in. Mix, 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 mix. So that gelatin is going to turn this all into a mixture. Okay, and let's see how we did. If you're really concerned about whether or not all of the cocoa powder has mixed in, all right, I'm coming over to our work table, and I've got our strainer. This is the strainer I was telling you. Isn't this beautiful? It's going to do a great job for us. We're going to pour this out, this mixture over, and we'll see what happens. Let me go get our glasses. Ah, our beautiful glasses. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour this in very slowly. Now that was a little bit too quick, but this is the mixture we want. I think I need to put a little more in this first one. We're back, and the second thing I wanted to show you is how much I love using these squeezable cups, measuring cups. So what I can do is use this and just pour this in at a nice steady stream. How much do I need? I don't know. If I need more, I will come back. And see what I caught with our strainer? Just a little bit, but it's enough to ruin the dish. Now I'm going to take our mixture and I'm just going to pour it right in. Just pour it in as much as you think we need, as much as you want. Oh, yes. Oh. Now the idea behind cooling this chocolate off is so that I don't disturb it as I do this process. Right now it may be warming up, but it's not going to be warm enough to dissolve and ruin and mush around and just make a very ugly presentation. I'm going to put some more in here so these are filled up. I don't want to look cheap. Do I? No, I don't. Okay, and then very carefully, we want to put this to chill for about 2 hours. All right, we are back with the final few things for our dessert, custards. One of the things we're going to do now is whip some cream, but I want to show you a few things first. Number one, the whisk you use is very important because when you're whisking cream, you don't want to be here all year. You want to get it done and then move on. So what I want to show you is a couple whisks that will not work for you. Going and getting a whisk that looks like this just isn't going to be ballooning enough air in. In fact, it's rigid and it's made for mixing cakes. So it's not a real whisk per se. Then we have this plastic contraption. Now this looks good. It's flexible, but again, you just can't beat as much air as you want into the whipped cream. This definitely won't work. This is what I grew up with this little thing right here. It goes back and forth, and a little teeny handle like that. That, you just can't get enough air into this. You're gonna tire your kids, you're gonna tire your neighborhood, you're gonna tire the whole state of Texas out. Now this is closer to what we need, and this could work. See how it's a balloon whisk? But ultimately, we're gonna want this kind of whisk, because you can see that the tangs go back and forth, and compared to these, the number of metal pieces is more, which means more air is gonna get whipped in, and this plastic one will just kill you. So we have our whisk, we have our bowl. I got a big bowl and I got some cold cream. Do not be afraid to go ahead and chill your bowl for 20 minutes or 10 minutes in the fridge or freezer. Now, I want to step back for a second. I forgot to tell you that in this recipe, when you put in the cocoa, you want to put in a couple pinches of salt. You know, in the American diet and the European diet, salt and pepper are used for many, many common seasonings. It plays with your tongue and makes food taste different. In a way, it cuts down the bitterness and it allows food to sort of elevate itself where the food tastes like what the food is. If you oversalt it, you get a cow lick, and that's no good for anybody. Okay, so we have our cream in, and I hold the bowl like I'm holding sort of like a picture frame. You ever looked at a picture frame, the angles on it? And then I'm gonna put my 4 fingers on the outside of the bowl. That's how I keep it steady. And then I'm gonna mix. I'm gonna whisk, just go round and round, round and round. Make a mess if you want. Everybody likes a mess when it's up. The colder the cream is, the faster this will whisk. Oh, we're gonna give this about 30 seconds. You wanna count down with me? 29, 28, 27, 26, 25. This is almost a cook-along, isn't it? 23, 22, 21, 20, 19. Ooh, I gotta switch hands. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. Just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. When it's about halfway whisked, in about 10 seconds, I'll go ahead and start putting in the sugar. Okay? Sorry for the jiggle and wiggle, but you can tell that this is done because I should hold it over my head and nothing should happen. I'm gonna sprinkle in a little sugar. You know why? That sugar is gonna take a few minutes to melt. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna sprinkle in some of our cinnamon. So now everything's in here, and we can watch the colors, and the sugar will melt. And how I know it's done is I should be able to hold it over my head, and you all should not be able to laugh at me. You guys don't want to laugh at me, do you? God, I hope not. Now at this point, we can see that it's stiff. but I want to make sure it's done enough. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Now let's see. This could be real embarrassing if I hold this over my head. 1, 2, 3, done. Ooh, that was scary. All right, we're ready to assemble here. So I have here one of our cooled chocolate custards. See the chocolate ganache on the bottom, and on top is that beautiful custard we made. Let's go in here and let's get some whipped cream. Now, there's all kinds of ways of doing whipped cream. I'm gonna go around and just kind of go like this. And you know, you gotta hold it straight up and down so that you can get a nice, beautiful dollop. You want as much height as you can on this thing. So we can do it like this. Okay. Normally I'd put that in the middle. Now I got a trick for you all. This is a bonus. Have a peeler and a beautiful brick of chocolate and just peel all that chocolate on there. You may want to turn your dish and look at that. Just like that. There's our chocolate custard. You know what? With Ancho and cinnamon, I gotta try it. Okay? Look, everybody, there's Santa Claus. Oh, isn't he big? Oh, get in here. Get some of this chocolate with it. Oh, it's crusty on the bottom. Some of that whipped cream, some of that custard. And, oh, there's Santa Claus. There he goes again. Wow. The Ancho chili is not hot. It gives sort of a little bit of hello, and it beefs the chocolate up so it tastes more chocolatey. I really enjoy this. And you can see the Jell-O has set. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. And you can see that the cream is beautiful. Okay. Well, I want to wish you all, that's so good, a happy Cinco de Mayo. And I'll see you next time with Chefsville.